This morning, a man crashes a vehicle that he'd just stolen from a local golf course.
Yeah, but this wasn't just a typical car. News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy is here in the studio with us this morning. What in the world, Dan? What was this?
Yeah, you don't hear about this too often, but Khalil Gordon has admitted to police that he stole a Kubota utility vehicle very similar to this that was parked at Ted Rhodes Golf Course in North Nashville over on Ed Temple Boulevard. Police say that this man then drove that Kubota off the property for about 1.5 miles all the way through these North Nashville neighborhoods down to Buchanan Street and 14th Avenue North, where he crashed it. That's where officers found Gordon. He admitted to them he both stole and crashed that Kubota. When it comes to auto thefts, we talk about this often, but it's usually cars and trucks we're talking about, not utility vehicles like this. But nonetheless, police say it's often a crime of opportunity. Auto thefts are up 8% over this time last year in Nashville, with an average of about 8 vehicles stolen each day so far this year. And most of these easy targets because keys left inside these cars, and often sometimes even left running or unattended. Metro Police urge everyone to park smart by locking your car, securing your valuables, and removing your keys. Otherwise, it's like low-hanging fruit for these car thieves, and there's no guarantee you'll ever get that car back, or in the case of this Kubota, not without a few dents and scratches. Adam, back to you.
All right, thanks, Dan. Allegations of an affair on the taxpayer's dime now has the acting director of the TBI facing his own investigation. 21-year TBI veteran Jason Locke had served as deputy director for the last 2 years. After the retirement of longtime director Mark Gwynn, Locke became acting director. Locke now finds himself at the center of a scandal as a result of an email sent by his own wife early Friday. Kim Locke accused her husband of having an affair with Sajal West, who was deputy commissioner of the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. Kim Locke emailed the governor saying Locke, quote, admitted to me that he drove his state vehicle and she drove her state vehicle to stay in hotels paid for by the state of Tennessee. They each found a reason to be at those locations to continue their affair. News Channel 5 has learned that Safety Commissioner David Perkey reached out to Locke's wife Friday after that email. The allegations have been referred now to state auditors. Meanwhile, Jason Locke has hired a lawyer who says he doesn't know enough at this point to comment on that. Meanwhile, here's what we know about the new man who's going to be in charge over at the TBI. Starting later this month, David Ross will be there. He has served as police chief in Knoxville since 2011. The 55-year-old rose through the ranks of the police force when he joined back in 1993, but there have been some pretty questionable decisions during his tenure as well. He faced some heat over courtesy calls he made to the University of Tennessee's football coach to give him a heads up of players accused of rape. He officially starts June 28th.
And major developments late last night surrounding the mayor's budget proposal. The Metro Council voted unanimously not to sell the Murrell School property and the surrounding 7-acre park for $13 million. Murrell, I should say. That's one of 3 Metro properties that the current budget proposal calls for selling. The other 2 are the old Green Hills Fire Station and an old Public Works Service Center on Charlotte. The Metro Council is expected to vote on that budget tonight, and they have a lot to think about. 2 alternatives to the mayor's budget are also on the table, and they include a plan to cut more than $2 million from several departments and give it to Metro schools. But it doesn't come close to fully funding the district. This means teachers and other Metro workers will not be getting their promised pay raise next year. The other plan proposes a 50-cent property tax, something the mayor opposes.
New this morning, a family's plea to help find their 24-year-old son. Take a look at James Alex Henderson. Here he is right here. Kentucky State Police say he's been missing since yesterday morning. He was last seen leaving his home in Graves County in a 1998 gray Dodge Durango. Investigators say he could be headed to the Kentucky-Tennessee state line. And if you see him, please give police a call. Keep an eye out for this suspected killer. Metro Police say Dion Woodruff is wanted for murder. We brought you as breaking news earlier back in May. He's accused of shooting and killing Marquandis Thompson inside the Medusa hookah bar on Church Street. Police say Woodruff is known in the Edge Hill area, and if you see him, call police immediately.
A new development in a shocking murder for hire scheme. Zachary Alexander was facing the death penalty in the murder of 2-year-old Joseph Bankston in Clarksville, but has now taken a plea deal. Alexander will now serve life plus 66 years in prison. Investigators say David Wee paid Alexander to kill his family in 2015. Wee has already pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life plus 50 years in prison.
People are celebrating the LGBT community all week leading up to the Nashville Pride Festival. Last night, people came together to support people who suffer from inequality and also inspire unity. The Nashville Pride Spirituality Night was an all-inclusive event which brought together people from many backgrounds and faiths at Benton Chapel. The keynote speaker was Dr. Robin Henderson Espinoza, a gay rights advocate and theologian. All of this is ahead of this week's Pride Festival, which is happening this weekend on Saturday and Sunday at Public Square Park. And organizers say there's going to be entertainment out there, dozens of vendors, and tickets for that are $5.